Hello, fellow challenge lovers. Quick thank you and PSA regarding the 39 seasons and 39 days franchise recap. First off, thank you so much to everyone who has been watching and following along on this franchise recap. They have been an absolute blast to make, and we are only halfway through. So there is a lot more challenge greatness left to cover. And super big shout out to the cast members who have been interacting with, DM'd me about, shared some of the videos. It is the coolest thing ever to get to talk to some of you about this show that I and everyone listening or watching loves so much. So thank you to you watching. Thank you to all who have DM'd. Thank you to the cast members who have interacted and taken part. Now for the PSA. The first half of this franchise recap was much easier for me to do than the second half is going to be. So just need a little bit of grace from you all watching, and here's why. For those that have been following for a long time, you know I did a rewatch series back in 2022 where I went super deep, recapping the first 20 seasons of the show, which is currently where we stand in this version of the franchise recap. For each season, I rewatched the entire season, took extensive notes, like crazy detailed notes. I graded every episode, every daily challenge, every elimination, wrote down every hookup, wrote down this, that, and the other, kept all kinds of lists, and then did multi-hour podcast breakdowns about each and every season. I had to stop doing that because, as you can probably imagine with everything I just laid out, it took a lot of time, like at least 10 hours a week on top of the actual watch time, which was its own 10 hours or more, depending how deep into the franchise you got and how long a lot of the episodes get to. I didn't have that kind of time, so that stopped after season 20 then. And that means that while I've still been putting a fair amount of time into these videos each of the last 20 days in this version of the recap, I've had it pretty easy in that I have those extensive notes about each season to go back to, including things like literal lists of evolutions and memorable moments from every season. It's quite easy to pull from and put together the scripts for the videos that I've been making for the last 20 days. I don't have that, however, for Rivals onward, 21 onward. I'm going to have to use just my memory and recaps or write-ups I can find online to jog said memory. So if you know of a great Reddit thread or some blog that did recaps of old season or YouTube series similar to this or anything that might help, you let me know. DM me on Instagram at Challenge Historian, comment on the YouTube version of this video below. I've seen all of these seasons, 21 through, I'll say I've seen Rivals through War of the Worlds 2 3 to 4 times each at minimum. I've seen a couple of them, Rivals and War of the Worlds 2, each side of that, probably 5 or 6 times. But all of them in that span. And then the most recent couple of seasons, I've only seen once or twice, depending, like the last one, I have not went back and rewatched B-Fang. Maybe I will sometime soon. But it's going to be a lot of memory. It's been a long time since I've watched some of these seasons, and I don't have those extensive notes to go back to the way I did for the first 20. So just, don't hold it against me if I don't hit your favorite moment that clearly should have been mentioned, or if I bypass an evolution of the game, anything like that. Let me know that I missed it, but please try to have a little bit of grace in letting me know that I missed it. Also, I'm past the point of having access to clips of the show, and I also am past the point of where I think I'm allowed to include them in YouTube videos or on Instagram or TikTok or anywhere else without getting in any trouble or those videos taken down. So there will likely not be many of those included anymore, which I know sucks because it means you just got my face to look at. You just got to look here, and that's not a whole lot of fun. But the good thing is these seasons, 21 onward, are obviously all available on Paramount Plus. So if you want to see something bad enough, go on over there and watch to your heart's desire. Which brings me to the first of my last 2 points, which are answers to the most common question and the most common criticism of this series so far. The question is, as always, where can I watch seasons 1 through 9? I, of course, got that question tons and tons of times in comments, DMs, and the like. And the answer is you can't. And I'm unable to help you out in any way. And I know that is an absolutely sucky answer, but it's the truth and the only one I have. And even though I just gave you that sucky answer, I'm still going to shamelessly plug my Instagram account because back during that 2022 rewatch, I did episode by episode recaps on Instagram of every episode of the first 9 seasons of the show. I included 4, 5, 6, 7 clips from each episode of the all 9 seasons. So if you go to my profile page, again, at Challenge Historian on Instagram, and you use those little highlights at the top, you can scroll all the way to the side. A bunch of the seasons, there's like 4 or 5 highlights worth because they only let you save whatever it was at the time, like 100 videos, 20 videos, whatever the max was. So some of them, it takes a while, but detailed recaps, episode by episode, tons and tons of clips, all of the best moments, all of the highlights. You can go watch those and get a pretty damn good summary of the first 9 seasons and get to literally watch and hear most of the moments worth remembering or knowing about. Now, the final point is the most common criticism of the rewatch series or the recap series, franchise recap here so far, and that is the grades and the grading scale. Couple of things on that. First, I grade very strict. You might not know this about me yet, especially newer listeners, but I'm the most literal person you've met. Believe me, I promise you that is true. I am an extremely literal person. Things like grading scales matter a lot to me, okay? So something getting a B is a legitimately good grade for me. I reserve A plus and A for the all-time best, A minus and B plus for great, B minus for good, C plus for fine, C and below is the we got worse tier, which is any season I think moved the franchise backwards, not forwards. There is going to likely be some regrading and shuffling of positions once all is said and done, and I will probably more than likely bump 1 or even 2 seasons all the way up to the A plus tier if no one ends up there organically on the way through, so that there is a definitive champion and a kind of this is as close to perfect as we got. We will see. Back to the original PSA here. My grades for those first 20 seasons are rock solid based on rewatches and deep consideration. Again, my grades for the next 19, not as much, a little more how I remember them, thinking about them, how it makes me feel. So if there was, the couple episode, stretch in the middle that gets a little boring, I probably won't remember that. It probably won't hurt the grade of the season the way on some other seasons that y'all have been like, how is this not graded higher? And I'm like, well, because episodes 4 through 7 are kind of boring. It starts with a bang, it ends with a bang, or what have you. I might not remember those as much. The grades might end up being a little higher than they should be overall for these next 19. We will see, and we will adjust as needed once we are done and we can see everyone in the order that they end up. Anyways, there's no video for today, Friday. Rivals will be out tomorrow, and then X's and Seasons will both be out on Sunday to get caught up for the one day here today, Friday, that we're missing. And then starting Monday, one again a day until premiere day of Battle of the Eras once we've hit all 39 flagship seasons. I appreciate you all. I thank you so much for pushing me past the 1,000 subscriber threshold on YouTube yesterday. That was an incredible moment. I look forward to the second half of this franchise recap. Again, be kind. Remember that this we're moving into the memory territory, but always let me know if I missed a moment, I missed an evolution, you would disagree with the grade. All of that is great. Comments on YouTube, Instagram, DMs are open. Love and appreciate you. Peace.